Hey there, my name's Brashler, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to use Reverb on your Yamaha DM3. Now, if you're brand new to my channel, I'm all about helping you feel more confident in your production gear no matter where you're starting from. Also, if you are on a path to learn more about audio, I have a weekly newsletter where I share some of my favorite tips and tricks, and you can get that newsletter into your email for free over at audiotoolkit.co. So head over there, sign up for free, and get some of my favorite tips and tricks in your email inbox every week. But let's go ahead and dive in on the Yamaha DM3 and see how we get Reverb actually working. Now, with the Yamaha DM3, there are two effects racks, and so we can see our two effects racks up here. So we can click on our effects one, and we can even change what type of effect we have here. Now, by default, the first one is going to be an HD Hall reverb, and by default, the effects 2 is going to be a delay. Now, with this video, I'm going to be talking about reverb. So we have this microphone, check, 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 and I have this going into my main left, right. And so we have this volume here, and if I turn it down, we can't hear it, and I take it up and we can hear it. So if we want to add reverb to this microphone, we need to send our channel 1, where this mic is, to our effects rack where we have our reverb. And in this case, my effects rack 1 is where I have my reverb. And so I want to send this channel to my reverb, or to my effects 1. And there's two ways to do that. One, we can set it from the actual channel. So on the channel right here, I can click on effects 1, and I could just use my touch and turn knob to adjust the volume of the send up into my effects 1. Another way of doing it is if we are in our channel view here, we can scroll down on the left-hand side and we can click effects 1, and I can then turn this up just like that. The other option is I'm at my home page here. I can go click effects 1 up here, and then it will flip my mode of my mixer to be a sends on fader, and then I can just go and add the microphones that I want into my effects 1. So say I had 4 vocal microphones here on 1 through 4, and I wanted verb on all of them, I would take all of them and turn them up to 0. Now, this send for our effects is post fader, meaning that once I get out of this, if my volume of my fader is 0, it's not going to send any of this channel to my effect, which is exactly what we want. Because if I had a mix of 4 vocal mics, and say vocal 1 was leading and the rest of the vocals were background, and the background vocals were sitting down at -5, then this mix that I have of my vocal 1 being a little bit louder and my vocal 2 through 4 being a little quieter is the mix that I want going to my reverb, because I don't want my reverb all of a sudden having a different mix than my front of house. So it is post fader. So just keep that in mind as you're mixing. We want that to be post fader. In that case, that's why I send all of my reverb for my vocals at 0. That way all of my mixing that I'm doing for my front of house mix is the same of going to that verb. Now that we have our vocal turned up and going to the verb, we can go click into effects 1. So as I talk into this mic, we can see that there is an output on my effects 1, but it's not actually going into our mix because there is an effects return that we have to turn up. So if we go to our effects mon fader bank later, we can see that effects 1 return, effects 2 return is right here on these 2 faders. So if I go and talk into this microphone and start turning up my reverb, we will start hearing this reverb at a pretty high amount. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. And that is as simple as it is to get verb on a microphone. Now, if your musicians are hoping to have reverb on their floor monitors, then you need to turn up the effects return into their floor wedge. So say we have mix 1 and I have my vocal microphone turned up in mix 1. We would also want to turn up the verb for this microphone into this mix bus. So I'm going to then go to my effects mon layer and turn up the verb into my mix 1. That way, that musician that's standing in front of that floor wedge or with their in-ears can then start hearing that verb. Now, one thing to note about the effects going into a monitor is the effects are post fader. So if we have our vocal mix and we are adjusting volumes here, it is being sent post fader to that effect, which is exactly what we want. Just keep that in mind when you're mixing reverb into monitors, that sometimes the reverb will be a little bit louder or quieter depending on how you're mixing. Now, with that being said, our volume here of our effects in our mix is separate than the volume going to that monitor. That monitor is a pre-fader send. So if we adjust our volume up and down here of our verb overall, then it's not adjusting the amount going to that mix. So just keep that in mind. Now, I hope this video was helpful for you today. If you do happen to have any questions, or if there's a video that you're hoping that I would make on the DM3 or really any of the other production equipment that's out there, please post that in the comment section down below, as I'm always reading through those comments to find videos that are going to be helpful for you. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my website at drewbrashler.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.